Hey, welcome to class. My name's Nora. Welcome back to our mobility series. Today we are focusing on the ankles and the wrists. We're going to do a couple of exercises to not only explore your range of motion, but hopefully strengthen your control over that range of motion in those joints. For class today, we just need 2 blocks. When you're ready, you'll meet me on the mat with those blocks. Today, let's start in a comfortable straddle. Remember that we were focusing on the ankles and the wrists. So we're not really worried about this being a hamstring stretch or a hip opener. Let this be comfortable. If it helps, you can even bring the soles of the feet to the earth. And then you'll set your 2 blocks in front of you, stacked, and you'll actually turn those blocks long ways, pointing away from you. And we'll set the right forearm on top of those blocks. Then you'll take your left hand and, like a vice grip, press down because we want to hold the forearm in place. We don't want any movement really to happen above the wrist. We want all of the movement to be happening at the wrist joint. So we're vice gripping the forearm between the blocks and your left hand. With your right hand, you'll bring your fingers together to make like a little serving tray out of your palm. From here, we're going to start by turning the fingertips left to right. Really simple. One side is going to be a little bit harder than the other. As you move towards the pinky, you'll probably have more space. And as you move towards the thumb, it'll probably become a little bit more difficult. Notice that the hand kind of likes to cashew, like it likes to curl up and create kind of a pool in your palm. See if you can keep the hand flat to the best of your ability. I'm going to go one more time, right side and left side. Good. Come back to center. Now we're going to go up and down. So pull your fingertips up towards your face. Watch how much the palm likes to curl up. Try to keep it flat. And then turn your fingertips to the floor, shining the palm forward. A couple times. Try to keep that palm flat all the way. Oh, it's tricky. And then that left hand stays heavy. So there's no real movement at the forearm. This is all happening at the wrist. Go one more time to the floor and to the sky. Now we're going to make a big circle. So keep your fingertips pointing up to the sky. You're going to turn your fingertips over towards your pinky. The palm stays pointing up, and then fingertips point towards the floor. Take all of your fingertips around towards your thumb. This is the hardest part of the circle to draw, and then fingertips up to the sky. Okay, we're going to go 2 more like that. Try to make a bigger circle every time you go through without cupping the hand, without the forearm moving. One more this direction, and then we'll reverse it. That's called a wrist car, a controlled articular rotation. Controlled just means, right, we're doing this slow with intention. We're noticing where we're compensating. Articular just means we're doing it at the joint. We're working the circle through the wrist joint. And rotation just means that it's a circle. We're drawing a big circle. Beautiful. I don't know if I told you to reverse it, but you should reverse it. And off in this direction is a little bit easier. You get the hard part out of the way first, going towards the thumb, around, and your wrist should feel warm. This should feel tiring, right? Not very often do we move the wrist through its entire range of motion, but that's what we're doing today. Draw your last circle, release, give it a good shake. Let that go. Whew. Okay, let's go to the other side. So you might slide those blocks a little bit to the left. We're going to set our left forearm down, palm up. Right hand, push it down onto that left forearm so the left forearm is vice gripped between your hand and the blocks. Make a little serving platter with your left palm so your fingers are all together, and you're going to try to keep them together as we move today. Take your fingertips left to right. Left to right, trying to keep the palm flat. And this might bring up some frustration. This might bring up some surprise. When we try to move just from one joint, we tend to realize, oh, how much I compensate in the other joints, how much other things move to make it seem like I have more movement at this joint. And today we're providing a little bit of resistance with the blocks and this right hand so that we're not getting any movement from the shoulder or from the elbow. This all lives in the wrist. Bringing it back to center, we go fingertips to the sky and fingertips to the floor. Fingertips to the sky, fingertips to the floor. One more time. Point your fingertips up to the sky. Take your fingertips over to the right towards the pinky. Palm flat, turn your fingertips down towards the floor, around towards the thumb, and all the way up to the sky. 2 more like this, going 1 mile per hour around the whole circle. When you get your fingertips back up to the top, reverse it, go the opposite way. If you are someone who spends a lot of time sitting and typing, or you use your hands a lot for very detailed work, making sure that the wrists are strong and well worked can make a big difference in how well your hands function in everyday life. We got one more circle. Beautiful. Release. Give that left hand a good shake. Lovely. All right, you're going to set your blocks off to the side. We'll use them later. We're going to come to tabletop next. We're going to work on our passive to active wrist extension. So spread all 10 fingers wide. You'll tuck your toes under for a little bit more control. Then you're going to rock your weight forward and bring your shoulders ahead of your wrists about as far as feels comfortable. You want to feel the underside of your wrist. That tissue is what is on stretch here. That is what is preventing you from going farther forward. You feel that tissue tightening up. And take a breath in. Breath out. We're going to rock the weight back, and as soon as you possibly can, lift your fingertips up to touch your forearm without bending the fingers. Your palms will lift up, your fingertips are lifting up off the floor. If you need to rock back even farther, you can. But really, the shoulders should probably just stack over the wrists, and you should feel the top of the hand, those muscles are tightening up. Now you're going to release the palms back down. We're going to rock forward again, and maybe you can go a little bit farther forward into your passive wrist extension. As you exhale, we rock back and we make it active. So you're rocking the shoulders back, and as quickly as you can, lift those fingers up towards your forearms. Hold. Feel the top of the hand contract, the front of the wrist contract. We're training those muscles to engage for 3, 2, 1. Last time, you're going to rock as far forward as you can, hopefully farther than the last 2 rounds, just as we're warming up these wrists. And as you exhale, rock back as quickly as you can, lift those fingertips and hover. We fight for more lift, pushing the heels of the palms down, elbows stay straight, and then you're lifting, lifting, lifting through the tops of the hands, through the ends of the fingertips for 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now turn your fingertips back towards your knees. We're going to train the same thing. We're just going to do it from a different position. So you'll find this position, it's easier to find the stretch, but it's harder to do the lift off. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. So this time we rock the weight back towards the heels. You want to keep the heels of the hands down. They're not lifting up. They stay on the earth. And again, you want to feel the underside of the wrist on stretch. Take a big breath into that. Stretch your feeling. Rock your weight forward. Shoulders stack over wrists. As soon as you can, lift your fingertips up and hover them off the earth. Hold. Train the top of that hand to squeeze and lift for 3, 2, 1. Rock back. Maybe you can rock back a little bit farther this time. Shoulders slide even farther behind wrists. And then we rock forward, and as quick as you can, lift the fingertips up like they're going to touch the forearms. They're not going to, and that's okay. Hold. Fight for more lift. Squeeze those fingertips up to the sky for 3, 2, 1. Rock back last time. Rock forward. Fingertips lift. Hold. Breathe. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. You're going to untuck your toes, sit back to your heels, walk your hands back so you're sitting up tall. Then you'll turn your palms up, but your fingertips back, so the back of the hand is on the mat. You can bend the elbows here. You can sway a little bit side to side. You can lean back. Yeah, just give the underside of those wrists a little bit more length, a little bit of stretch. Pardon me, the tops of the wrist. We're stretching out all that we just contracted through those exercises. If you want to feel more, slide your hands a little bit farther forward. Ooh, okay. Now we're feeling it. Lovely. Now you'll plant the palms in front of you. You're going to remain kneeling. With an inhale, you'll lift the heels of the hands up to stack over the knuckles for some wrist push-ups. With an exhale, you want to lower with just as much control as you lifted. That's 1. We're going to do 2 more right here. And last one. Beautiful. Walk the hands out to tabletop now. Shoulders stack over wrists, and same thing, wrist push-ups. With the inhale, you'll lift the heels of the hands to stack over your knuckles, and then lower them with control. Lift and lower. These wrist push-ups are as good at strengthening your wrists as regular push-ups are for strengthening your upper arms and upper back. Let's go 2 more. Remember that it's not just about the lift, it's also making a controlled lower. Final round. Walk those hands back, give them a shake. Let's move on to our ankles. So we're going to come back to that straddled seat that we started with. Again, this should be a comfortable straddle. If you need to, you can always sit up against a wall to keep your back supported. And then we're going to take one block and place it underneath the right ankle so that the heel hangs off. Then you'll take your hands and you're going to vice grip your thigh so that we don't get any rotation of the leg at the hip joint, and we get all of the rotation from our ankle to the best of our ability. So we'll start like we did with the wrists. We'll start by just flexing, pulling the toes back towards the shin, and pointing, extending through the top of the foot. Flex and point. You want to try to keep the leg locked so you're pressing the back of the knee towards the floor. Go one more time. And come to neutral, and then all we're going to do is go side to side. And just like the wrist, you'll find that one side has a lot more movement than the other. It's probably much easier to go towards your big toe than it is to swivel towards the pinky. Do your best. We're here for 2 and 1. Now we're going to draw a big circle. Flex the foot up towards the sky. Roll it towards the big toe. The toes are just along for the ride. They're not really activated. Roll the foot towards the floor, towards the pinky edge side, and around. There might be some snap, crackle, pop here, especially if you've had ankle sprains, broken ankles, twisted an ankle. And it also might mean that your circle looks a little bit more like a triangle, and that's okay. You're going to reverse your circle, so go towards the pinky edge side, around, flex. Yeah. Watch that leg. You don't want to see it spin side to side. That's why we've got those hands gripping the thigh to hold the leg in place so we're not rotating at the hip. This rotation exists at the ankle joint. Finish your last circle and relax. We're going to move to the other ankle. So block underneath your left calf, heel hangs off. Vice grip the left thigh in the 2 hands. Straighten the leg so the knee is locked and the back of the thigh is pressing towards the floor. And we start by flexing and pointing. Flexing and pointing. If you were a dancer or you did martial arts or you spent a lot of time barefoot, your ankles and your toes will probably be a little bit easier to move than the person who hasn't spent a lot of time focusing on ankle movement and walking around in bare feet. All right, we're going to go side to side next, towards the big toe and towards the pinky. Towards big toe, towards pinky. For all the lovely things that shoes do for us, they often provide a ton of ankle stability, and that means that our ankle just doesn't do that stability on its own as much anymore. And doing exercises like this can help strengthen the muscles that wrap in 360 degrees around the ankle and hopefully provide you with a little more support. So when you do roll that ankle, you're much less likely to sprain it or break it. All right, big circle, flex the foot. Take it towards the big toe, around, down, and through. Towards the big toe, down, around, and up. And 1 more. Trying to draw the biggest circle you can and reverse. And last one. Lovely. Okay, release your block, set that off to the side. Now we're going to train the ankles. And I'll tell you that this can be a challenging training, but hopefully you will feel like you have new ankles afterwards. So we're going to come to kind of an awkward position. We're going to fold the left heel underneath us and stack the right foot on the floor. Okay, so I'm kind of sitting on this left heel and right foot is underneath us. And we're actually going to do the same thing that we did with our wrists, those passive to active liftoffs. We're going to do the same thing with this front foot. So you'll lean your chest onto your front thigh. You'll walk the hands forward and you'll start to rock your weight forward and maybe let that right heel come up and kind of rock forward and back for a moment, trying to find a stretch along the back of the right ankle. And then you're going to glue that right heel down and lean as far forward as you can. So you're getting that line of tissue through the back of the ankle on stretch. You'll take a breath. Exhale, rock your weight back as soon as you can. Pull your toes up towards your shin. Can you lift the bottom of the foot up while the heel stays down and you're squeezing and contracting the front of the ankle and the top of the foot? We're holding for 3, 2, 1. Set it down, rock your weight forward again. Keep that heel down as you find stretch through the back side of your ankle. Rock it back as soon as you can. Lift off, make it active. Squeeze, toes up towards the shin as if they're going to touch that shin even though they're not. Here for 3, 2, 1. Rock it forward one more time. Can you lean as far forward as possible, really putting the back side of this ankle on stretch. Rock it back, pull the toes up towards your shin. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay. Now we're actually going to train the left foot. So stay exactly as you are. I'm just going to pivot so you can see this side. It's important to train not just dorsiflexion, what we just did on the right foot, but plantar flexion as well, which is what we've got going on in the left foot right now. So this is a little bit more awkward, but stick with me. This is important. You're going to walk the hands back behind you and lean back. Then you'll push the top of the foot down. Can you lift your left knee up off the floor? And you should feel the front of the ankle on stretch now. Maybe a little bit of rocking forward back if that feels good. Just kind of finding that stretch, front of the ankle, top of the foot. We'll take a big breath in. Exhale, walk yourself forward, and as soon as you can, squeeze those toes up towards your butt. You should keep the front of the ankle on the floor, but the top of the foot is peeling up away from the floor. If the sole of the foot is cramping, that's good. I'm right there with you. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Rock it back. Walk the hands back behind you. Lean back. Lift the knee up. Find stretch on the front of the ankle. Breath in. Exhale, walk it forward as soon as you can, as quickly as you can. Pull those toes up towards your butt. Try to lift the top of the foot off the floor while keeping the front of the ankle heavy for 3, 2, 1. One more time. Rock it back. Woo! I'm feeling the intensity here. I hope you are too. Knee lifts. Top of the foot presses down. Stretch the front of the ankle as deeply as you can. This is our last round. We walk it forward. Curl those toes up. Squeeze them to the butt for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Left hand comes to the outside of you. Sit to the outside of that heel. Bring both feet around. Whew. All right. You're going to roll out your left ankle. Should feel like you have some new space there that you've discovered. Roll the other way. And then we'll do the right side. Roll it around. And you should feel like, oh, there's some space there that perhaps wasn't there before. And then we're going to switch sides. So you'll fold your right heel underneath you. So your right butt is sitting on top of that heel, and then left foot is on the floor. Okay. From here, hands walk forward. Lean your chest onto that left thigh. You want to feel a stretch in the back of the left ankle. If you like, you can rock forward and back a little bit. You can let that left heel rise up. And then you're going to glue the left heel down, but keep leaning as far forward as you can. Take a breath in. Exhale, shift the weight back as soon as you possibly can. Lift the toes up, lift the sole of the foot up while keeping the heel down. Top of the foot and the front of the ankle are contracting. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Rock it forward. See if you can lean even farther forward this time. Keep that heel down. Breathe in. Rock back, pull the toes up, hold. Fight for more lift. Fight for more lift. 3, 2, 1. One more time. Lean as far forward as you can, getting a lot of stretch on the back of the left ankle. Walk back and we hold. This is our longest hold. Hopefully your highest lift as well. Fight for it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now we train that right foot. The heel is folded underneath us. Walk the hands back. We're training plantar flexion on this right foot now. Push the foot down as you lift the knee up. Feel a stretch on the front of the ankle and the top side of the foot. Maybe a little bit of rocking. Good. Now, walk it forward. The knee is down. As soon as you can, curl the foot up off the floor so that you feel the back of the ankle as well as the sole of the foot contracting to try to lift that foot up while the ankle and shin stay heavy. 3, 2, 1. Rock back. Knee lifts up. Little stretch. Top of the foot, front of the ankle. Rock forward. Curl the toes up. Squeeze. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Last round. This is it. We're almost through it. Press the foot down. Try to lift that knee as high as it'll go. Rock forward. Curl the toes up. Squeeze. Toes and sole of foot towards butt. Hold 5, 4, 3. If you're cramping, breathe through it. 2, and 1. Relax. This time you bring right hand outside the right hip. Sit to your right hip. Swing the legs out in front of you. Whew. Lean back on your hands. You're going to pick up your right foot, roll it around. Now we have trained both plantar flexion and dorsiflexion in the foot. We worked on strengthening the muscles that surround the ankle to engage both plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. Reverse your circles. So it should feel like there's a ton of space around the ankle joint that perhaps you didn't feel before. Set that right foot down to the left side. Woo. Reverse. If you are interested in slowly improving your wrist and ankle mobility and control over time, I really recommend that you do these exercises a couple times a week. And over time, you will start to see major changes in the structures of those joints. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope your wrists and ankles are feeling very different from when we started. And until we meet on the mat again soon, namaste.